Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Yo, what up? It's Scottplex City. Welcome back. I'm Scott Pang. Scotty B's right there, and this can be podcast talk right now. What we were just talking about before. We just gotta watch the language a little bit, and not express ourselves with the f-bombs and all that. But so Scotty B's like, yeah. So this one station where my family lives, They have SmackDown going on tonight, and
Or it was last night.
Last night, and who comes in?
It was Becky Lynch. Came into the studios in the morning show there in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and I'm thinking to myself, when any single time the superstars come here, it's always a dude. Not that we don't like when the dudes come in. You know, we had Dean Ambrose. I think Alberto Del Rio came through. CM Punk came through. Kofi Kingston, which is all cool.
Yeah.
You know, you get to meet those guys. That's awesome. And usually the excuse is when we ask, why don't they bring one of the divas? At that time it was divas. They're now the women superstars, which is cool. The answer was always basically like, well, you know, that early in the morning, tough for them to get made up and look really good and all that kind of stuff. So that's why they bring in the dudes.
Unless back then it was more about the appearance of the women.
It might be.
Compared to now,
but
it's
still,
like...
I was watching this video because they had a live video for the station, and she was kind of made up. You know, she had the makeup going. She looked good. So it's like, I don't want to hear that excuse anymore if we don't get one of
pretty much
the women that come
Pretty much
through.
what we're saying is that we expect a women's wrestler. I mean, dude, somebody has to come through next time we have SmackDown here. Has to happen. If they're going to start rolling the women out in the promo tours, that's awesome.
I would love that.
Especially if you could get like a Charlotte or a Sasha or a Becky. If like one of those three, or Bailey. If you got one of the four horsewomen coming through, that's a big interview. That's a big promotion. I think that if they start actually cycling the women, they could do a duo. They could have a guy and the girl do like a double interview, a tag team interview, and
or why not Big Cass and Carmella? They're a couple, so have both of them come in. I'd be cool with that. Of course, they're on separate brands, but that wouldn't work. But still, something like that would be cool. You know.
I gotta say, speaking of couples in the WWE, they're the NXT team. Blake and Murphy.
Yes.
They've hooked up with some very attractive women within there. One of the guys used to be with Alexa Bliss. Maybe they're still together.
Murphy is with Alexa Bliss.
And then Blake
is with that Sarah Lee that was recently released. She was She was actually the winner of Tough Enough not so long ago.
Oh, did they actually release her?
Yeah, they let her go.
I didn't know that
pregnant.
They let her go.
They're gonna have a child together.
Oh,
I don't think maybe that's not the total reason why they released her, but I mean, if someone's gonna be pregnant, they're not gonna be very useful in the ring. So.
I was one of the ones that voted to get her through back when that was going on. Yeah.
Her promo skills sucked. I didn't think she was that. I mean, she was cute. She was okay.
That's what made me vote for her, because I was like, you know what, she's cute. She's got the girl next door look, and if she could actually figure it out, she could be something. But I don't think she ever figured it out.
I just kind of think that show is kind of a joke because over the years,
well, it didn't come back. This is the time that it was airing last year.
Yeah.
So
to me, that the show is a total joke for the most part, because they end up signing a bunch of people anyway, and half the time the winners get released, and someone who got cut midway through the show ends up being part of the roster or being part of NXT or whatever. Because Patrick Clark, he's now in NXT. He's got some sort of really weird.
I like Patrick
though.
He was good.
What was her name? Amanda?
Amanda, yep, there's Amanda.
Yeah, she's on NXT right now.
She's also on Total Divas.
Yeah, yep, that's true. You could kind of see that coming. She has that look.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of divas and stuff, Total Bellas is renewed for season 2.
I actually watched the show.
Some
if it's wrestling related, I watch it. Even though it's kind of a reality show aimed probably more towards women,
But throwing in Cena and Daniel Bryan helps it and makes it so guys can watch it and feel okay about watching it. Well, at least Cena's in it, and at least Daniel's in it, so don't you know how it is.
And Total Divas premieres tonight.
But Nikki is PO'd right now because she chipped her tooth.
She chipped her tooth, yeah. I saw that.
So she's going to have to get that fixed up.
She's a tough chick, so I mean,
I really, I like how she's doing, and I like what she's doing, and this little feud with Carmella is good, but, I think enough is enough of Carmella beating the crap out of Nikki, and let's have Nikki at least, be able to defend herself once in a while. All these little...
They'll
I
probably
just
blow
don't
off
get
that
it,
feud
you know
once
what I mean?
the Survivor Series comes to an end.
You got any outside the ring talk before we get into Survivor Series? Because we're basically going to combine SmackDown and Raw together and just talk about Survivor Series.
Basically it for the most part.
I'm scrolling right now and just trying to see if there was yeah, I'm just looking through all the texts and messages and everything that people from the industry have sent me, and I haven't been able to find anything.
I mean, one thing that was from outside the ring that kind of came to life, which I found very funny on Raw. I mean, we had that whole thing where Sin Cara ended up fighting with Jericho.
Right.
And then what happens on Raw, he ends up kind of picking a fight with Brian Kendrick. I kind of found that funny how they end up using almost something part of real life, and he ends up picking a fight with Brian Kendrick,
That's, do you think they're going to really move forward with that? Or are we really just going to see what happens with the Cruiserweight division here? How do you think they'll decide that? Because... to me, it sounds like Kendrick's going to lose the title to Kalisto.
And they'll put the whole division over on SmackDown.
But you got to remember, though, that they're doing that specialty show that's going to come on after SmackDown on the network that's just cruiserweights. So are they going to do cruiserweights on both nights? That's the question right now.
That would make more sense.
Because I really, truly think Raw needs a division like the cruiserweight because it helps fill spot. You have 3 hours that you have to fill. That can be pretty hard to fill sometimes, so... I think that's the right decision for Raw, but, I mean, the way it looks like it's going to SmackDown.
Yeah, more than likely they'll probably end up taping that show. I don't know if they're going to do it live. I don't know if they're doing that Cruiserweight show live at all.
I think, from what I hear, it's going to take place after SmackDown, which kind of makes no sense because it's like...
so are they going to air it after SmackDown, or are they going to actually have it after...
Allegedly, they're doing it in the same arena as SmackDown, so they could have that live feel to it. Mm-hmm.
So maybe they'll record it before...
That's to be seen.
Before SmackDown, before it goes on air.
Right.
And then they'll broadcast it after it goes on, SmackDown goes off the air on the network.
Similar how do they record main event, but what are they going to do with main event and stuff? Because that's recorded before SmackDown
that was usually
anyways.
so quick, they just boom, boom, boom.
It's like a match or two anyways, right?
Because I think for a while they were kind of doing, on both Raw and SmackDown, they would record that show. I think they would do a couple on one, a couple on the other, but I don't even know how they do stuff anymore. It's like, they got so many damn shows. They think they do stuff for superstars too.
Right.
I barely watch them. If it really has nothing to do with that goes, follow storylines and stuff like that, I don't watch it much anymore. I liked Main Event when it was on the Ion TV, and then they moved it over to the network. And then they end up taking that off the network. You basically just see stuff from weeks ago because I think there's some sort of exclusive thing overseas, in England or something like that. That's the reason why they had to stop showing it live on the network. So we end up getting the
That's what those heroes do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's all business moves and everything, and I think right now what Raw and SmackDown have going for themselves are pretty good. I thought this past episode Raw was extremely good. I think it was one of the few Raws that have actually been able to hold up against SmackDown.
Oh, for sure.
We are
leading going into a big pay-per-view, so they needed to do that.
I would say this SmackDown had a Raw type vibe to it. Usually SmackDown relies on its wrestling and its stories to make it be the main thing, but bringing in the Edge and Undertaker kind of gave it the cheap pop in a sense. What Raw does all the time, bringing people back, Brock and Lesnar, which we'll talk about. We're going to talk about that. We're going to save that for the end.
Lesnar.
Yeah, what I say, Brock and Lesnar? The same guy. He's fighting himself. He's got a war within. Sometimes you struggle and sometimes you don't, and he's struggling right now. Okay, so we'll talk about that coming up. We'll save that for the end because we'll do some major talk, some big talk, some jackknife talk. Is it the jackknife or jackhammer?
Jackhammer.
Jackhammer talk.
Jackknife was Diesel's move.
That's my boy, Deez. Alright, so The Miz defeats Dolph Ziggler this past week on SmackDown to become the new, maybe six-time Intercontinental Champion?
Yep.
He's catching up to
Jericho.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Jericho's 8 maybe even a little more than that. I can't remember now.
He's going to get that. The Miz definitely deserves the title, but what do you think this means for the match coming up on Survivor Series, which is this upcoming Sunday? He will be taking on Sami Zayn. If Zayn wins, he takes the title back over to Raw. Is that how they make make up for the loss of the Cruiserweight?
That would probably be it. That would make sense. I have a feeling. I remember talking about this last week where we said that Miz was probably going to end up getting involved some way in the match with Dolph and Sami Zayn. Well, now that he's got the belt, I have a feeling Dolph is now going to get involved in that match. Probably cost Miz the title. Something's going to happen there.
I think that what's going to happen is Sammy's going to be about to win it, and Dolph is going to run out just to be Team Blue and just interfere and cause the disqualification, and Miz won't lose the belt. That's what I think, because I feel that the Dolph is going to be like, no, this is my belt. I want my belt back. If it goes to SmackDown, how am I going to get my belt? I think that's the outcome. I do think that the Dolph will run down to the ring and cause a disqualification. But either way, I love the feud between Dolph and Miz.
Strong.
It's really good. It feels good.
It's been going on for months now, and it still feels fresh.
And now that the Miz is doing the yes and doing the yes kicks and everything, dude, he is the biggest troll of all time.
He is.
You can't tell me they're not setting up for a Miz versus Bryan
they're doing
match.
Something, because constantly, like when he won the belt, he got on. I think Miz got on Talking Smack and started doing the whole Brayton Daniel again. So they're keeping that up. Where are they going with that? I mean, if they're not going to have a match, is Daniel going to end up picking someone to take him out or something like that? I mean, if they're going to keep on harping with this, you need a big payoff. Either have Daniel come back for one more match, or have him like pick someone that you wouldn't expect to destroy the Miz.
He brings back CM Punk.
That would be nice.
That would be legendary.
Not going to happen, but it would be nice.
Definitely not happening, but you could dream. So who are you taking here, The Miz or Mr. Zayn? And I don't feel that they've gave Sami Zayn enough build and push to make it feel like he could win it.
I'm thinking The Miz is going to hold on to the belt because, I mean, just the fact that why would you have 2 mid-card titles on one show? It wouldn't make any sense to me. Even if it was the Cruiserweight, we go into the other one, still, I mean, you still have that different balance of belts. Either way, you have the Cruiserweight on either show. It doesn't matter. Just that, what would the mid-card guys be fighting for if there's no mid-card belt? It wouldn't make any sense to me. So to have The Miz hold on to the belt in some way, shape, or form would make sense.
Definitely makes total sense. I'm going with The Miz as well. I do feel that they kind of dropped the ball on not having... They should have been cross-promoting for like at least a month now. You know what I mean? They should have had Sammy showing up to SmackDown and Dolph at the time showing up to Raw. They should have been doing that. That could have built it up, because right now it just doesn't feel like Zayn can take the title. It's just like... It feels almost like a thrown-together match just to get you past this pay-per-view.
The only thing that would make sense, like I said, if Dolph somehow got involved and cost The Miz the match, then Sammy would take the belt.
Right.
But the whole, to have 2 mid-card titles on one show and then have the mid-card guys on SmackDown not having anything to fight for, it doesn't make any sense. So, to me, keeping it on The Miz makes the most sense.
Absolutely. And another match that I feel is just like we just need to throw something together so we can get to the next pay-per-view to make the decisions for the titles is the New Day. Because they're definitely holding the titles. At this point, they're holding the titles. They're definitely going to go on and break the record. They're going to be the longest reigning tag team champions of all time. And they're going to end up probably dropping it at the next Raw pay-per-view, which I'm not exactly sure what one it is. Is that Roadblock?
Probably, Roadblock. I believe that's the next one, if I'm not mistaken.
Could be. There's just so much now. So maybe that will... I think they'll end up dropping it there, most likely to the Club, it's looking like, because the Club has got a few wins in the past week, big wins, and they're actually on a winning streak and looking dominant now. But we got this 10-on-10 Survivor Series match here. We break it down, Team Raw, we got the New Day, we got Sheamus and Cesaro, which, by the way, I mean,
They're
I
starting
think
to meld.
yeah, I think I think we're a little bit away from them being champions, but I see a championship reign
for sure.
By springtime of 2017.
I'm starting to think they're probably going to turn Sheamus a little more into a face.
Mm-hmm.
I would say they've become a face tag
Well,
team.
they're also doing the whole like Miz and Mizdow thing, the yeah, boo, yeah, boo thing back and forth. So I like how they're doing that, and they're feeding off the crowd. You also got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. You got Enzo and Big Cass, and then you got the Shining Star.
They'll probably be the first ones to get eliminated.
Exactly. Then they take on Team SmackDown, which is Heath and Rhino. You got the Hype Bros, American Alpha, and the Usos, and you got Breezango. So you definitely got Shining Star and Breezango. They're out of the picture right away. I'm gonna say the wild card in this whole thing is the Usos, because I feel like they are trying to give the Usos a little push, but they're not. So don't be surprised if the Usos end up doing something big in this and maybe go toward the end.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely that's not going to happen, because it's probably going to go down to America Alpha versus I would say the Club. Those are going to be the last two right there.
If it comes down to that, of course, you could have a few teams going against. It could be like a 3-on-1 situation. So, with this, I'm going to go. I'm going to go Team Raw is going to win this, and I don't know which scenario it's going to be, but I'm going Team Raw with the tag team ones.
I'm going with Smazak down. Yeah. So
what the hell was that?
I don't know. You said Raw, correct?
Yes, Raw.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about this cruiserweight division here. It's kind of felt a little underperforming. I don't think it's living up to the potential that they maybe thought.
I think that's the reason why they're starting that new show. It's just like they got to boost it up a little bit, because it's kind of getting lost in the shuffle with everything else that's going on. And they're trying to make it the highlight, because they changed the ropes, they changed the ring apron and all that kind of stuff to really kind of put focus on it, but it's still kind of getting lost.
Right.
I mean, you're still hearing boring chants during some of these matches, which is stupid, because these guys are working their butts off, and I don't get it. So,
speaking of the boring, we're just gonna go to the side real quick. I do think that last week when they were chanting boring and going in, when the women like Charlotte and Sasha and all them were out there talking and everything, I think that's why there was some backstage segments this week instead of in the ring, because they're trying to control stuff a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I do think Charlotte is pretty good at controlling the crowd when they get going.
When they start saying stuff, she's just like her dad. She's the whole "shut up," and she knows how to really get under the skin of the crowd,
for sure.
Rile them up.
We'll definitely, we're going to get into that a little bit more when we talk about the women. But yeah, so let's go back to the cruiserweights here. Brian Kendrick definitely doing a pretty good job. I like what he's doing. I just don't think there's a good face for Kendrick to go up against right now. Because, what's his name? TJ Perkins. I don't think he's it. I don't think
He's good in the ring. His promo skills are lacking. So
very.
That's the rough thing there. You got so many guys who are really, really good in the ring. I mean, I like Swan.
Right.
I like Cedric Alexander. Those two guys are definitely future cruiserweight champions, because they are so good in the ring. Kalisto is even good.
Yeah.
I mean, if he ends up getting the belt. But his promo skills are a little bit lacking as well. So, I mean, you got to boost some of the promo skills in some of these guys, and we'll see how well this cruiserweight division is. But at the same time, it's like you got to think back in the WCW days when the cruiserweights were the big thing they had going on. It was all about the wrestling. Don't worry about the promos. And that's the one thing they probably should do, is kind of lighten down on the very scripted promos. If you actually watch some of these guys start talking, and just do it all in the ring. Just don't worry about the promo so much. Just show it off in the ring, because that's what they are best at.
Yeah, that's what the people want too.
That gives you the holy bleep moments.
No, that's absolutely, you're right on that. And you know how during the cruiserweights, they had a little meeting, little get together in the locker room, and they're basically saying, "Oh, we don't believe you that you're gonna win this match, Kendrick. And anyways, if Kalisto wins it, he'll be a better champion than you anyways." You know how they're going in and putting that doubt in on him? if they actually gave that division more time and built up the characters, at the end of the day, who do we really know in the cruiserweight division? I'm not emotionally connected to hardly anyone in that division. If they actually spent some time and gave maybe 2 cruiserweight matches a night and gave a little bit another side storyline, that moment in the locker room could have meant something.
Very true.
That they try to make it mean, but I think it actually fell through on the significance of what that part was supposed to mean, because at the end of the day, I don't care about anybody here, so why do I care about where the championship goes? I'm not invested in the cruiserweight division on Raw to care if it goes to SmackDown. Yeah. Where I'm invested in the IC title on SmackDown, and I want it to stay on SmackDown. You know what I mean? It's
absolutely.
I think they have failed miserably, and hopefully by putting this cruiserweight show on that comes on the network after SmackDown, and then after that is when Talking Smack is going to air. So Talking Smack is getting pushed back an hour too. Hopefully with that they're able to build up characters and build up those storylines that's so desperately needed in that division.
So. I mean, because basically once T.J. Perkins won the belt, it was only the focusing on Perkins and Kendrick once Kendrick became the number 1 contender, and every other guy kind of got lost in the shuffle there. So like you said, if they start, maybe focusing a little bit more on some of these guys and do another type of storyline, then you're going to really truly care. Even though I do care about these guys, because, I mean, I like some of the high-flying crap that some of these guys do. It would be much better for the Cruiserweight division as a whole.
Absolutely. Who you taking between Kalisto and Mr. Kendrick?
They haven't really done anything for Kalisto either.
Right.
I mean, I would say Kendrick holds on to the belt and the Cruiserweight division stays on Raw too.
That's exactly... I think that it's going to stay on Raw, but they're also going to have a specialty show over on... obviously they're still doing that show, but I think that's just going to be a side thing. It's going to be a little special, and it's just time to fill. And because they could still put it on, and it's not like 11 o'clock at night when they're running the network. They're running it at 10 o'clock. So I do think that Kendrick is going to keep it, or Kendrick just turns on Raw and he goes over to SmackDown. So the women is going to be Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. We got Charlotte, Bayley, Nia, Alicia, and Sasha taking on with Dana. I don't know what that means. She's
just in their corner.
Okay, so she's like their mascot.
Mm-hmm.
You got Nikki, Becky, Alexa, Carmella, Naomi with Natalia.
And she's their coach.
So, mascot. I really wish that they clashed the champions. I really wish they clashed Charlotte and Becky here. I really think that would have been a great
I still don't
opportunity.
understand the whole reason of having Nikki Bella as the captain when she's not the champ.
Right.
When you got to think Team Raw and Team SmackDown for the guys. Kevin Owens, AJ Styles are technically the captains, both the Universal and World Champion. Why is Nikki Bella the captain of the SmackDown if Becky Lynch is on the team?
Don't make really no sense at all.
I don't get that.
How do you feel about the women's division in general?
I like it.
Do you think Raw is better than SmackDown, or do you think they're about equal, same playing field now?
I'd say they're in the same playing field because, I mean, Charlotte and Sasha, really strong. Even Bayley, too, really strong as far as the Raw team goes. Alicia Fox, she's just kind of there because I think they need a body because she hasn't really been around too much lately. Nia Jax could still use some work, but she's getting there as being the big monster of the women's division. Nikki, she's been there for a while, Becky Lynch, always good. Alexa Bliss. I'd probably go with Team SmackDown, actually.
Team SmackDown,
I'd probably go a whole lot more with the fact that I think that division is so much better than Raw's, actually.
I think that Team SmackDown right now, they got it going on. They got a lot of people in that division that I think have really stepped up.
I mean, Alexa and Carmella
and
right
Alexa,
there.
And they've become like extremely valuable players for SmackDown. I'm playing around here because once again...
Did you lose your video? So we're just going to have the still frame of you this week in the video?
Yeah, but this time it's going to be just in the middle, of course. Like, I just can't win here. I can't win at all.
Technology, you got to love it.
Oh, my God. So I really do think those two women, just because of the amount that they've been able to step up, has changed the game for the women's division in general. Because now it just don't look like, oh, they got lucky with a couple good women. Now it looks like, hey, they got some good women coming up. I'm going to take SmackDown.
I'm going to go with SmackDown, too, for sure.
Then we got Team Raw versus Team SmackDown. Oh, my God, again, but this is for the men. We got Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Roman, Braun, and Seth. They're taking on AJ, Dean, Bray, Randy, and Shane. Now, the thing is that Undertaker on SmackDown came out at the end when they're cutting the promos and all that, and he was like, listen, if you lose, I'm taking souls and digging holes or something like that, he said, right? Like
that.
I don't know if that was the exact thing, but it was along those lines. And he said he's back. He's not just back. He said he's not back for just WrestleMania. So
this is probably his last big run with the company, I would think. I mean, the guy's over 50 years old
probably take
now.
us up into WrestleMania.
I would think so.
He'd probably bow out next WrestleMania.
I would think so, but you never know. You never say never in WWE. I mean, some of these guys go for a while. You got to think a guy like Ric Flair went probably into his 60s, close to his 60s, wrestling. I don't know if Taker can handle that because you've seen him over these last few years. He looks beat up, and it's just the fact that he had that schedule for like one match a year made sense. So I would think more than likely this is his last run. But of course, I think I said that a couple of years ago when I was thinking, okay, he was there for a while and doing quite a few matches, and so who knows what to say. But I would think more than likely this is probably gonna be his last hurrah. Especially if he's coming on SmackDown. Who's on there? John Cena! That would probably be... Because I think they were actually thinking of that match this past WrestleMania. And of course, Cena was hurt, so it didn't happen. That was the rumor. So maybe it's going to happen this year, and that will be his farewell match.
What I'm hearing is that The Undertaker is back to take the role of Daniel Bryan because Daniel Bryan's going to be leaving for a little bit once his child is born.
That could happen.
And he's going to hop in, and what is he, the general manager of Raw?
The Undertaker
Daniel?
being the general manager? That'd be weird.
Come out there and magic and lightning bolt you and all that stuff, and you know what? You mess with him, he just choke slams you. I don't know. Anyway, I don't care how they get him involved. I just like the idea that The Undertaker is back and that he put something. I love the fact that they put it. It almost makes me say that Raw is going to beat SmackDown because the way he threatened them, it's like, ooh, what are we going to get?
Whoever cost them the match is going to have hell to pay with The Undertaker. And I've also read some rumors that possibly he'll be going after the belt, AJ Styles. So maybe we have a big match between AJ Styles and The Undertaker, and he ends up taking the belt, and then big WrestleMania match is the Taker against, God, if it's Cena going against The Undertaker for the belt, oh my God. That could happen. I don't know, but that's a rumor right there that they're looking to have maybe the Taker against AJ Styles.
I think they're also saving John Cena. It will be 17-time champion.
Yeah. Or is it 16?
16, whatever it
16,
is, right?
Yeah,
I think they're saving that for WrestleMania or SummerSlam. They're saving it for a big moment because it deserves a big moment. At the end of the day, love him or hate him, he's gonna get it.
I don't want to see him break the.
He's gonna. It is what it is.
Nature Boys record.
It's just sometimes you get tough pills to swallow, and this may be one of them. Just make sure you got a big glass of water. So that's probably gonna happen at the end of the day. John Cena's gonna take it, but the fact that they're just like, hey, we're gonna hurt and get rid of you, and we're gonna put you in a casket, pretty much stuff. I really think Raw's going to win. I'm taking Raw for this, and because at the end of the day, the storyline is so much better if SmackDown loses just because of what The Undertaker said.
I mean, first when this whole thing came down, and hearing that the Taker was going to be part of SmackDown, I mean, the week before, obviously, Shane McMahon gets named to the SmackDown team, and then you hear that the Undertaker's going to show up. It's like, I was thinking, is the Undertaker going to end up taking Shane McMahon's place? That didn't happen, so there went that theory right out the window. I definitely think Randy Orton is going to turn on Bray during the match.
Already?
I think that's going to happen already. It just doesn't seem right. And for some reason, it's like you're not fooling anybody with that whole thing. So I think that's going to happen there somewhere. Dean Ambrose and AJ Styles are probably going to clash with that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to go Team Raw on this one.
Team Raw?
Yeah.
Do you think that after this we're going to see a little bit of a feud between Owens and Roman? Somebody going to be double champion? I mean, we got double champion in the UFC, and you know how WWE plays off of, real life, stuff that happening. Is there a chance we're going to have another double champion here?
I could see that happening. Yeah, I think they're actually they've already set up a match between Roman and Owens for Roadblock, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, then I would say it's going to happen. Somebody's going to be a double champion in the WWE at the next Raw pay-per-view.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. I don't know if it was like announced that it was going to be title for title or anything like that.
They're saving that.
Probably maybe the Universal Championship might be up for grabs. I don't know if the U.S. title is up for grabs, but I did see on Twitter that it was announced that that's going to happen, but I don't know if the U.S. belt is up for grabs in that one.
And then the big moment was Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg.
That was the best promo of the night.
Goldberg actually cut a good promo.
It was great.
I was surprised. I couldn't believe that he actually cut a good promo. And the way that he was acting and knocking down the security guards and throwing them around was just
awesome. Your son is going to be calling Brock Lesnar daddy.
Wow.
You knew what was going to happen as soon as he said that.
Like, when he said that, I sat up right on the edge of my seat then. Like, I was already into it, but that, I was like, here we go.
That's going to make him snap. Here we go. Boom. He starts kicking the crap out of the security guys.
He's like, my name is Paul. He's like,
shut up.
He's like, my name is Paul.
My name is Paul.
So good. And the thing that elevates this feud, I've said this in the past, is I think that they care more this time around.
Absolutely.
I think they truly want to entertain the fans this time. And I think the fact of having Paul Heyman in the picture it just makes it so much. It's like throwing the spice. It's like you just had some regular chicken, now you threw whatever, you put some lemon pepper on it, now it tastes a little bit better. You know what I mean? So Paul Heyman, what he does for matches and how he builds it up. Do you think, though, this is going to end the night? Are they going to close the show out with this?
I would think so. I mean, this is really the match that's been hyped up the most. I mean, with all the promos they've been doing. I mean, every single week they've just been really good. The only speed bump was that stupid mistake of trying to get Goldberg over in Brock Lesnar territory. Yeah. They were up in Minnesota. I'm like, what are you doing? What were you thinking doing that?
Good luck.
I mean, but it was a total opposite. They really should have switched. They should have not even had Minnesota in the mind in the build up to this thing if they're going to be doing the whole thing and trying to put Goldberg over, because
could they have just missed it? Could they have just Monday, not have realized, and it's just something that fell through the cracks?
I mean, the fact that over the years they hyped up so much the fact that he went to the University of Minnesota and stuff like that, it just was something stupid on either the writers' parts or Vince's part or whatever. But I mean, he was totally over though in Buffalo on Monday. I mean, the crowd was going nuts. I mean, they were basically all for Goldberg and not so much for Lesnar. So I mean, they're doing something right with this whole thing. That time around, at least.
What are you expecting from this match?
I'm just expecting them to just beat the crap out of each other. I'm not expecting anything, obviously, scientific or whatever. It's just going to be these guys just beating the crap out of each other.
Right.
I expect...
That's what I would say. Do you think we get blood, some color in it?
Not with PG, not
really? This would be the match, though, right?
It might make sense to do it, but I doubt it. What I do expect, though, is to have basically the same sort of ending without the blood as the Randy Orton thing, with he's just pounding the crap out of him, and Goldberg doesn't give up, and he just ends up pounding him into submission. He just knocks him out. I think that's the way they're gonna end it that way, kind of like almost like a Stone Cold Bret Hart thing, where he's not gonna give up and ends up getting called by the ref just because he gets knocked out or passes out or whatever. Because it's like, to me, I can't see you actually having Goldberg get pinned without something screwy going on, and I can't see Brock Lesnar losing the match.
I can't see him losing it, because I think it just ruins everything that they've been building up for over the past.
Because Goldberg's not sticking around. I mean, I doubt he's sticking around after this. This is going to be one and done. Maybe another match that they can convince him to do it, but I think for the most part this is one and done. You're building Brock as the beast, the monster. To have him lose would make absolutely no sense. But at the same time, Goldberg, he's still the man. He's still a big monster as well. So to have him lose cleanly, to me, really wouldn't make any sense either. But
some distraction.
Maybe some distraction, or like I said, just have him just not give up. Have Lesnar keep pounding him down and be like, stay down, and Goldberg just keeps on coming back up. Have him go out with honor type thing.
Right. I'm excited for this match. I really think it's going to be good. I think we will get some color. Personally, I think Vince isn't going to approve it, but I think it's just going to happen. I think
it seems to
Brock's going to
with
throw
Brock.
those elbows, and he's going to cut them open.
Brock. He gets cut open a lot of times where he says, "Oh, it was accidental." So who knows if he's telling the truth when that happens? But I mean, there's that WrestleMania 31 with Roman, where supposedly that wasn't supposed to happen, and stuff like that. And same with the Randy Orton thing. I think he came a little too close with that elbow and busted him wide open. So it could happen. If anything, it'd definitely be some accidental blood.
I think that Brock has to win it. I mean, he came back. He was a dominant champion. He beat The Undertaker. He's gone back to the UFC and won in the UFCs, beat John Cena. Every time that he's lost in the WWE, since that dominant period where he didn't lose, it's always been some shady type of, loss. It was like, oh, well, if that didn't happen, he probably wouldn't have lost. So he has to win it. I think he just has to win it. I think it's going to be a shading ending. It's going to be some crazy thing that's going to happen. Paul Heyman's going to get involved somehow. Maybe Paul Heyman gets something with his son. Paul Heyman's going to do something to his son.
I don't know.
He's going to insult them somehow. I think obviously I hope that he does it and the son knows it's going to happen. It's not just
obviously.
But you know what I mean. But I think something with his son's going to.
They're kind of pushing the whole family thing.
Something's going to happen with his family, and that's going to distract him, which leads to Brock taking the victory. Brock gets the victory. Who are you saying?
I got to go Brock. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Goldberg win, but it just wouldn't make any sense.
All right, so there's one match where we'll decide who is the winner this time around, and that is for the Raw 10-on-10 Survivor Series Tag Team Elimination
We've
match.
basically been agreeing for the most part, except for that one.
Right. Outside of all that, anything that you think we should cover, anything that we missed, needs to be thrown in there?
Not that I know of.
I think we've covered it all for the most part. Conor McGregor, I think there's a chance we might see Conor McGregor in the WWE in 2017.
Triple H, I think, actually confirmed that he wants to see Conor at WrestleMania 33.
That'd be so awesome.
And if they do, they're going to have the censor button
ready to go.
Ready to go, because I got to say, I am not a huge fan of Conor McGregor. I think he's got too big of a mouth that needs to be shut every once in a while. But that promo that he did after his fight with Eddie Alvarez, where basically you said, I talked a lot of stuff, blah, 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 and I want to take this time to apologize, dramatic pause, to absolutely nobody! The double champ does what the F he wants! I laughed. I thought that was one of the best.
He's awesome.
It was such a wrestling type promo. It was just beautiful.
I think he would be great just to go in there and, one and done. Mayweather did it, why can't McGregor?
Mayweather's another guy who needs to get knock the F out. I can't stand him.
I'd love to see McGregor. Well, Mayweather was like the other day, I didn't see his fight the other night, blah, blah, blah. Don't compare me to him. That's insulting me. I'm an elephant. He's an ant. I don't even see him. And then
I can see McGregor knocking him out.
And McGregor was like, well, say that to my face. And then later on that night, McGregor was like, you know what? Floyd wants to talk this, and he wants to put all these stipulations into a fight. He doesn't want to fight, really. You want to fight under boxing rules? Give me $100 million in cash. So McGregor's willing to box him.
I could see McGregor, because he's got some really quick hands.
And
if you watch that fight with Alvarez, I mean,
dude, every left put the guy on his.
Oh my gosh,
dude! I honestly think that McGregor would beat Mayweather.
I could see it for sure.
I do. I mean, there's 15 years difference. Number one. You know what I mean? He's 28, and what's Mayweather in his 40s?
Probably pushing it, yeah.
If not, there's at least a 10-year difference. Let's put it that way. He's at least 38 years old. So, yeah, I would really like to see that fight, and that fight would bring in a lot of money. But if somehow the WWE they've capitalized off of Ronda, even if it's a quick moment where it's just at WrestleMania and just hops in a ring and just lays a quick little left on somebody and. We'll see.
That's all you need.
That'd be big. They got to go major for 33.
They're going to be in Florida, so...
I also hear Hulk Hogan.
I've heard Hulk Hogan's... they're talking. He, of course, I think his his daughter said something to the fact that he was in talks. Hulk said he wasn't, but basically the man lives down there in Florida. He's got a shop that I've been to in not Fort Lauderdale, where am I saying? Clearwater. Mm-hmm. So he lives in that area. More than likely, he will be down at WrestleMania. The Rock is definitely going to be part. I think he said, he confirmed that he will be part of WrestleMania, which makes sense. He's down there in Florida all the time, too. So, I mean, we're months away, but it's going to be huge.
Yep, well, the rumors are already beginning.
Absolutely.
So, Survivor Series this Sunday, you know the deal. WWE Network, we don't get paid for that, but, yep, it's right there. It's a good deal.
There's still people
just
who just, for some reason,
buy the pay-per-views.
Don't think they should do it. Oh, go ahead. Spend $50 on the pay-per-view.
Like, you could literally sign up and then cancel at the end of the month.
Oh, for sure.
It's that easy. All right, so that's that for this edition of Scottplex City. Video version comes out tomorrow. You can find that on our social media. Scotty B.
That's Scotty B 1976 on Twitter, Scotty Bizzle 76 on the Instagram, and Scotty Blaine Facebook. That is Scotty with an IE, not a Y.
At Scott Radio is how you get at me. Subscribe to Scottplex City on iTunes. You could also search Pank's Podcast. Also, a little note, in the upcoming weeks, I'm just going to be switching this show strictly just over to Scottplex City on iTunes. And I'm also going to, whenever I do like a UFC interview, I'll upload it still under this brand. I got something else coming in the future with Pank's Podcast. We're going to separate it, and we're going to make it more direct leading into the new year and make Scottplex City its own separate identity and its own brand. You know what I mean? Like,
much like SmackDown and Raw, the own brand. Yes.
It's the brand split. The brand split's coming. All right, so Scottplex City, thank you very much for listening. Tell your friends about the show. We appreciate you tuning in each and every single week, y'all.
Yes, we do.
All right. Bye. Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.
Scottplex City.
Marks.